never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated.
Alright,
By a mix of
2021 mixes 4 on your second coat, 85 hardener, and then I use 95 reducer. And add half more time to you. I'm not fast enough, and you're not fast enough. Yo, 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 what's up? This is Jeremy from Tech Innovation Growth in the Peach Capital of the State. Alright. I'm going to try to keep this under 10 minutes because you lose people's attention after 10. They swipe it and they get done with it. And I've found out that videos I post between 8 to 12 minutes get more views than the ones that's over 15 minutes. So let's try to keep this short and sweet. Spraying clears, spraying any product when it's super hot. You can use different types of hardeners and different types of reducers. You can also use pot extenders. I've never used them, or pot life extenders or whatever, and I'm not talking about this bot. I'm talking about pot life. Alright? So this is the way it works. I sprayed some 2021 the other day and it mixes 4 1-to-1. Alright? The 15-minute rule is in a lab, PPG in a lab came up and they said, okay, in a perfect environment, perfect humidity, like 30%, 35% humidity, all 70-degree products, you got 10 to 15 minutes in between coats. Your coat window starts from the time you start spraying. So you spray it. And when you're spraying, you don't look where you're going, you look where you've been. Because if it's not laying down flat, why in the world would you why in the world would you clear the whole panel and then look back and go, man, that looks like crap. If you're starting to clear and it's not laying down, fix your gun. Fix your fan, fix your air pressure, turn up your air pressure, turn down your air pressure, speed up, slow down, fix it. And then keep digging. I run full throttle at about 36 to 38 psi depending on the clear that I'm spraying. Alright? 75% overlap. Alright, so here we've got going on. Alright? So on the first coat, slower is better. I don't care what anybody tells me. I don't care what anybody says. Slower is better. Slower is faster. Alright? If it's over 100 degrees, I'm not doing nothing. Alright? It's just too hot. Even though with pot extenders and when you start adding all these different products and stuff, anything can go wrong. You got more variables. You got more things going on. It's just try to keep it as simple as possible. So if it's too hot and you can wait till a later date or later at night or whatever, roll on with it. But if you got to spray to clear, there's some things that you can do to kind of help you. Alright. 2021 mixes 4 to 1-to-1. Alright, so let's say it's 80 degrees. Alright. If I use 70 reducer and 70 hardener and my flash times is 10 to 15 minutes in between coats, my time is cut in half. Because the reducer and hardener I'm using is the 15-minute rule below what it actually is outside. Does that make sense? So if it's 85 degrees and I'm using 70-degree material, then my flash times are not 10 to 15 minutes. It's half. So half of 10 is 5, half of 15 is 7.5. So I got 5 to 7.5 minutes from the time I started to get back on it. So you might as well put the first coat on, hit the bottom and go right back and put the second coat on and keep digging. Because by the time you get around a whole car and come back around, that window of opportunity where you started is gone. You put it on there, you're going to have solvent pop, you're going to have all kinds of issues going on. It's going to be a nightmare. So don't do it. But if you clearing all over and you got to clear all over and it's 85 degrees, right? You need to use 95 hardener and 95 reducer. What that does is that extends your flash times by half. Meaning, instead of having 15 minutes, now you got 7.5 more minutes. So you got what, 22, 23 minutes in between coats. So by the time you start and go around, you should be able to get all the way around and get back to where you started from the time you started to get right back on. So you are to have all your stuff mixed and make sure your stuff don't have an induction time when you mix your product. A lot of guys are making a lot of mistakes. Down at the bottom it says induction time. Once I mix it in a cup, it says 10 to 15 minutes before you spray. A lot of guys put their product in there, mix it up, put it in their cup and go in there and spray, and they got all kinds of issues. Make sure you don't have an induction time on your P sheet. Alright? So once you go in there and you put your second, once you get your first coat on, I advise go ahead and mix in at least 2 more cups. So when you get the first coat on, you can come in here and go in there and do the finger test. If it's stringy, it's not ready. If you touch it and it kind of sticks to your finger but comes off, go in there, jump back on it, put it on there. On your second coat, over-reduce it just by 5%, meaning just splash a little bit more reducer in there. So that lets it kind of just mellow out a little more. Between the first coat and the second coat, wait 20 to 25 minutes. Now this works for me. You're going to have to play around with the numbers to see what works for you, because you might spray it on too heavy. You might not spray it on heavy enough. It might dry faster. You might not have enough airflow. There's a lot of variables, so do a small panel to see what works. A lot of practice, okay? Once you do the second coat, then wait between the second coat and the third coat, give it an extra 5-10 minutes. Check your stringing, check everything. Check the paper, check it in different spots. Don't check it in the same spot every time. When you mix up the next coat to go in there, you can reduce it by 5%, just a little bit more, just 5%. All right? Go in there, put your third coat on there. If your third coat's the last coat, then you're done. Come out, leave the fans on. Everybody's great. All right? Let's say, same scenario, let's say it's 95 degrees outside. Then you're going to have to use slow hardener or high temp hardener for high temperature. And you're going to have to use a reducer that's 95 or better. So DT898 has reducer already, has retarder already in it. Meaning it's going to slow it down even more. So when you put the first coat on there, you need to make sure you don't get back on it too soon, or you're going to have massive gravitational slippage. Alright? Let's go the other way. I know it's a lot to take in a short amount of time. Let's go the other way. Let's say it's 70 degrees, 72 degrees in the booth, right? And you want everything to mellow out as slick as possible. Alright? This is what you can do. You can use medium hardener and slow reducer, meaning medium temperature hardener and 85 reducer. Go on there, put on there, everybody's going to mellow out. When I did that Mustang the other day, it was about 70 some change, 74, 75, 76 degrees, but the humidity was like 50 to 60%. So what I did was I used 2021 4 to 1 to 1. I used 2021. I mixed medium hardener, which is 80 to 85 hardener, and then I used 95 reducer. And I go in there and I put the nice first wet coat on there, and I waited 20 to 30 minutes in between coats. The next coat, I waited like 5 minutes longer. And then the third coat, I waited like 5 minutes longer. And then the fourth coat, I over-reduced it by 5 to 10%. And I used 98 reducer, and I put a coat on there, and I let that mellow out for about 40 minutes. Went in there and checked it. Everything looked good. And then I went in there and I mixed up one more round, and I put one more light coat of clear on it. So roughly it's got 4.5, 5 coats of clear on there. Let it set, let it gas off, and then it laid down pretty slick. I'm happy with it. Client's happy with it. I put 5 on there because he's gonna cut it, or somebody's gonna cut it and polish it, and that gives them enough meat on the bone. So we're at the 8-minute mark. We'll try to close up right here and recap so people don't get too confused. So 15-minute rule. If it's 70 degrees outside and you want to go slower, you want to slow everything down, then jump up to 85 hardener and 85 reducer. So that's the 15-minute rule. So the 15-minute rule cuts in half, so that adds half more time to your flash times. Let's say it's 10 minutes in between flash times, and you bump it up to 85 degrees and it's 70 degrees, then that gives you 5 minutes more, so 15 minutes. Your time starts from the time you start spraying, not when you finish. All right, let's say you want it to kind of just mellow out even more. Just lay it out, and you're not in a hurry, and it's 75 degrees. You can use medium hardener and slow reducer. Let's say you got 95 reducer and 70 reducer, but you don't have 85 reducer, and it's about 85, 86 degrees. Don't go down in reducer, always go up, because if you go down in a reducer, you just contradicted your hardener. Does it make sense? So it's the 15-minute rule. All right? So 15 minutes, remember, if it's 70 degrees and your flash time is 10 minutes in between coats, your time starts when you start spraying. If you use all 70-degree product, your flash time is anywhere 10 minutes in between how you spray. If you use 70-degree material and it's 80 degrees, then your time is cut in half. Now you got 5 minutes in between coats. If you're using 70-degree material and it's 95 degrees, I'm not fast enough and you're not fast enough. You might as well don't even do anything. Now, let's go the other way. Let's say it's 70 degrees and you use 85, then your time is increased by half. Let's say it's 70 degrees and you use 95, then your time is increased by a full point. I hope that makes sense. And then you can use retarder, you can use pot extender, stuff like that. I don't use it because it's more variables that you're putting into the product. And fish eye eliminator, I don't use none of that. I don't use any of that stuff because once you start using it, you got to use it from start to finish. But it is available. If you need it, it is available. Just follow the P sheet. Just follow the instructions. Flex additives and stuff like that. It's only like 5% or whatever the weight of it is. I hope this helps somebody out. So this is Tech Tuesday. So today was the 15-minute rule. Next week, I don't know. If you got some suggestions, shoot me some information in the inbox, and we'll see if we can go from there. I hope everybody has a blessed day. Put God first. Let loose and drag. Don't worry about what the man up the road's doing. Don't worry about what the man down the road's doing. Sweep your own front porch off before you worry about anybody else. Give me a like. Give me a share. Give me a follow. Peace, love, and chicken grease. I'm out.